Good day, everybody. Hope y'all having a blessed day. And for those who aren't having a blessed day, I pray that you make it through the day. So I want to just jump right into it. I this message right here is good. So today is devotion. I just going through my handy dandy iPad again. I gotta find it real quick. Y'all know my notes be. I have a lot of notes, so I be having them. But today's devotion is don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. The subtitle for that is The Hidden King. I love this. I got it. 1 second, I gotta take out my gum. Okay. So don't spoil it. The Hidden King. Okay. So I want to go straight into it. I want to let you know the scriptures that I use for reference. I also want to let you know the people I use for reference: David, Moses, Gideon, Saul, and Jesus, and Joseph. My apologies. I also use Joseph too. These are people that were built and shaped in private. You know, they came out when it was their appointed time. And so what I got, the title I got, like I said, is Don't Spoil It and The Hidden King. The reason I got these, the reason I'm using these titles, and the reason God presented me in this way is because a lot of us tend to push ourselves out to the public on the wrong time, so prematurely. And the enemy, he works in that area heavy, prematurely. He likes to push out people that are premature. You see a lot of people today who are said so-called leaders weren't fully prepared because they wanted it so bad. They was rushing to get it. They didn't want to go through what it takes to build a real leader, a completed, full, well-rounded leader. They didn't want to go through all that. They didn't want to go through all the making. They didn't want to go through all the breaking, the betrayal. They didn't want to go through none of that. They said, "Oh, I need it now. I need it now." And the enemy sometimes prey on how eager you are. So the more you're eager, the more you're just ready to go there and go there and go there. Like you don't have all the set skills to actually lead a people, to be a good steward, to be a good authority figure, to be a good team player. All these different things, all these characteristics that is to make a leader, someone who holds someone accountable and stuff. All these different things you could think about that makes a leader. Because you're so eager, because your eagerness trumps it all. The enemy says, I'm going to capitalize off your eagerness and I'm going to push you out there prematurely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to present the idea to you. We talked about that the last video I posted. I talked about how the enemy presents himself. I'm pretty sure I posted that. And he'll present the idea. He'll capitalize off of your eagerness and the stuff that God had already shown you. And the more you start to talk to everybody else about it, oh, like God showed me this, and I did this, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I have this in mind, and I have that in mind. And sometimes you're so eager, you're so rushy to get there that the enemy says, I could present this to you. Like all you gotta do is accept it. All you gotta do is accept it. All I need you to do is agree on it. Shake my hand. And sometimes he capitalizes on that because we're wanting to get there so bad. And then we see everybody else who's already there. People that we feel as though, oh, this person's not deserving to be there. This person does this, that. He said, okay, I got this right here for you, buddy. You could take it if you want to take it. And so he capitalized over that. I'm gonna read through my notes and we're gonna go through it together and we're gonna explain. But that's the whole summary of everything so far. This is I'm loving this right now. This really touched me. So Everybody is not meant to see the work in progress. Too many vital components happen behind the scenes. So these are the things that are happening behind the scenes: the failure, the tears that you cry at night, the tears that you cry at night that people don't see when you get home from work, when you get home from school, when you get home from studying, when you get home from being with your friends and stuff like that, or you're riding home from. I know what me like. Sometimes I break down and cry when I'm in my car because I'm like, God, like I'm frustrated. I'm getting tired of this. I'm constantly getting a lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson, and I'm like not seeing what it is that you're doing. And sometimes I break down in tears, like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of this. I'm running out of money. I'm running out of food. I'm running out of resources. I'm running out of all these different materials and stuff that I need. And sometimes you just break down and you cry. Some people don't see that, and people don't need to see that. That's between you and God. And next thing is like the feeling of feeling defeated. That's the next thing that happens behind the scenes in your work in progress. Sometimes you fail, sometimes you feel defeated, but nobody needs to see that. Not everybody, let me not say nobody needs to see it, but not everybody needs to see some of these things, because their reaction to it can be just an action. Like it can be just self-pity. Oh, let me pity you right now. And then the last thing, most important thing, is your relationship with God. That prayer time, that going into your secret place and praying, ain't nobody need to know what you're praying about. Unless you're led to share with them something that nobody needs to know that. Nobody needs to know that. Nobody needs to know that. And we get so comfortable in saying, oh, this, oh, God, and nobody needs to know. Your personal relationship with God is your personal relationship with Him. It's going to show. You don't need to you don't need to do none of that. Your personal relationship with God is your personal relationship. Don't allow nobody to manipulate that. That's between you and God. Let's move on. So these aren't supposed to be seen by everyone. Some things aren't meant to be seen. Some things aren't meant to be seen, but it's meant to be seen by God and adjusted and addressed by Him. So allow Him to deal with the things that you deal with personally, internally, behind closed doors, some of the stuff that you are afraid to express. Pray and allow God to lead you and direct you in the right way in order to maneuver through those things and to fix it and to strengthen yourself. So let's move on again. So this is an issue that we have nowadays. Why is it an issue? Because social media is a thing where we feel as though that we have to post every single thing that's going on in our lives. The ups, the downs, the bloopers, the ins and the outs. We feel as though we have to share all of those different things. And it's coming from an incomplete storyline. It's coming from something that's in work in progress. If you're a work in progress, nobody needs to know or see what's happening while you're progressing, as you're being built. They just need to see the finishing product. They don't need to see the whole storyline, what happened. If God lets you share a testimony after the story is completed, then yes. But nobody needs to see the work in progress. Nobody needs to see that you're homeless. Nobody needs to see that you're sleeping on your friend's couch. Nobody needs to see that you're crying, you're tearing up. Nobody needs to see that you're still looking for a job. Nobody needs to see some of these things you're going through. I know we go through it, bro. We go through it. I promise you, I know that we go through it. I feel it so much because we're failing because we're showing every and anybody what's going on in our lives. And some people are praying against that we don't succeed. And you're there just showing everybody what's going on. You're having a mental breakdown. You're breaking down on social media and stuff. You're posting, you're ranting. You're talking about all these different things. You're reposting stuff that you see on social media that you may be internally going through, spiritually going through and stuff. And people are watching that. Monitoring spirits are watching that. And they're saying, okay, this is what you're going through. They'll message you out of a good moral act and say, I hope everything gets better. And really and truly, they're not, no, they don't hope everything get better. So some days you have to refrain yourself from posting. Sorry, I had to adjust that light stuff. But some days you have to refrain yourself from posting. So you're a work in progress. A work in progress. You're gonna be completed. You're gonna be completed. At least the goal and the purpose that God has for you right now is gonna be completed. You just have to work. You just have to. You're gonna get there, step by step, bit by bit. You're gonna get there. So God has to address you privately before He can promote you publicly. And a lot of us are asking for titles. A lot of us are asking for things that has to be seen publicly. But we have to be open and we have to be open-minded and open-hearted to be addressed and be fixed privately. So some of that comes with God correcting you, God humbling you, God breaking down all those barriers that you had up, God softening your heart, God searching your heart, God releasing you from the things that you need to be released from, God delivering you, you repenting, you praying, God healing you. So a lot of these things are just you and God. It's an intimacy between you and God where He worked on you and where you mirror Him. So all you see is Him, and as you see Him, He works on you. He works on you. He shaves what He needs to shave off. He fixes what He needs to fix. That's what it looks like. So some of us aren't ready to go through that process because we love constantly informing people about what's going on in our life. We love being followed, we love being talked about, and we live our lives under a microscope. We love living our lives. Some of us love living our lives under a microscope. We love people seeing the bits and nicks and crannies of what goes together to build this person that we are, or the persona that we give off, or the character that we push out on social media. Some of us aren't. Bro, listen. Not everybody needs to see that. Save some of that from home. Save some of that for when you get off at work. Save some of that when you get in the car. Not everybody needs to see that. It's I know you're eager to show everybody, but I can remember times when like I got an idea and I just like, oh, I'm excited for the idea, ready to do the idea and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I'm just yapping. Oh, like I'm just yapping because I'm excited for me, but not everybody is excited for you. Not everybody was excited for me, and I wanted you to know too. Like you're sharing, be careful who you share information to, because not everybody is in your corner. Not everybody is excited for you. Some people are sitting there waiting for their main purpose in your life, or their main purpose right now is just to see you fail. Some people just sitting at home waiting to see you fail. They have nothing else to do. Literally, they have nothing else to do. They have nothing else to do, but they love people that are underdeveloped. They love people that are they love people that they love to see people fail. That's the only thing they live for. That they live for. And there are some people who there are people who love the highs, and there are people who love the lows, especially when it's happening in the lives of other people. As long as someone else is failing worse than them, they're happy. You imagine that? You have people live like that. Some people live like that. They love it. So you got to be careful who you talk to. Let's go into, lastly, you're a work in progress. You're a work in progress. So what that means is what you're going through right now needs to be filtered out. Some of the stuff that you're going through right now needs to be filtered out. Nobody needs to know what God is doing in your life. At least if He's assigned you to talk to people, if he has gave you trustworthy people around you to talk to you, or that you can talk to them. But that's don't just go to everybody. I know sometimes we want to catch up with people and stuff like that we haven't seen in a long time. You just want to oh yeah, this is going on. Just keep the conversation short. Keep the conversation short. When now this where we freestyle. This where the title The Hidden King comes from. As you're being worked on in private, God has already prepared the stage. He has already prepared the platform, the foundation for you publicly. It's already out there publicly. You just gotta step up on it. So think about David. I'm not gonna touch on all the kings, but think on David. When the prophet came to anoint the next king, remember David's father brought out all the sons except for David. Jesse brought out all the sons except for David. And he's like, man, it gotta be a next. You gotta have a next son here somewhere. He said, oh yeah, but it can't be me and him. He out there with the sheep. So whilst the other brothers being lined up to get picked, potentially picked, the hidden king was the actual king, was with the sheep, was tending to the sheep. And then fast forward, David tells Saul, oh, like, you don't know how God's been shaping me in these moments. I defeated lions, I defeated a bear, I did all these different stuff whilst my brothers was doing this and brothers doing that. So God shapes you in moments. He shapes you when you don't realize it, you know. You may not see it in that moment, but he's shaping you. You could think of Jesus constantly told his disciples, hey, it's not my time. It's not my time. Like, he was still ministering, he's still healing, he's still doing all this different stuff. Hey, don't, not yet. Don't tell him yet. Don't tell him yet. And then he knew when it was his appointed time. So there are people. Moses. You have one of the kings I really love right now. Well, one of the stories I really love right now that I'm about to read up on is Gideon. It's in Judges 6 and 11. You can start reading up on it. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what the angel said to Gideon. When the angel of the Lord appears to Gideon, he says, "The Lord is with you, you mighty warrior." Gideon was hiding. Gideon was hiding, bro. Gideon was hiding. Gideon was afraid. He was scared. A boy about to happen. I don't know what's going on. I'm afraid. Gideon was afraid, bro. So God sees the king in you before you see the king in you. And me show how evident it is. It's so the king in you can also be seen by others outside the four walls. The king in you can be seen by other people. You may not see it because you're constantly living your body, living your skin and stuff like that, and you're going throughout your day. You know you. Well, you feel as though you know you. But you don't see what other people say to you. You don't see the things that people say, oh my gosh, you're blessed, you're favored, you're rich, you're in good health. And they say these things when you're at your lowest. People tell you rich when you have no money in the bank account. You don't think that's God? Generally, people get you confused with a wealthy person. When you have $0 in the bank account, you don't think that's God? People constantly tell you you're blessed and highly favored when you don't feel as, when you're at your lowest, when you're depressed, when you're going through it, when you're crying, when you're failing, when you're going through a lot of work. People tell you have a great job when you don't have a job at all. People tell you have it all figured out when you don't have it figured out. People tell you, oh, you look like you're in good spirit and good health when you're sick, when you just came out of the hospital, bro. And you telling me there ain't a God? You telling me that he's not fixing you in private? Other people could see it. You don't have to publicly say anything. People could see it outside the phone. As soon as you walk outside, as soon as you get out in the public, people could see it. Some people just don't want to say it. They could see it. They could see the king in you. So be patient, wait, don't worry, don't stress yourself. Yo, work in progress. So I pray y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all.